I used to believe danger announced itself. Sirens, footsteps, shadows creeping across your bedroom wall. I thought monsters made noise. I was wrong. Sometimes, danger watches you quietly. Sometimes it breathes your name before you ever know it belongs to you, and sometimes, it's a man everyone fears. Except you. That night, I stood against the marble wall, hands trembling, heart shaking in a way I never knew a heart could shake without breaking. His fingers were around my jaw, not rough, not forceful, just firm enough to remind me exactly who owned every breath I took. I wasn't supposed to be here. I wasn't supposed to feel this. I wasn't supposed to fall for him. My best friend's brother. The Mafia king everyone whispered about. The man who never touched innocence, until he touched me. He leaned in, breath warm against my neck, voice a dark ribbon dragging across my skin. "You think they can have you?" he whispered. "You think anyone else gets to look at you like I do?" His thumb brushed my lower lip. My knees nearly gave out. "You were innocent," he murmured, almost reverent, untouched, pure. And now, his mouth hovered at my ear. "You belong to me." My pulse thundered like it was trying to tear itself out of my body. Not because I was afraid, but because somewhere deep inside me, in the place I never let anyone reach, I wanted those words. I wanted them too much. "I shouldn't be here," I breathed. "You shouldn't," he agreed softly. His hand slid to the back of my neck, fingers threading into my hair. "But you are." And then, 3 sharp knocks echoed through the heavy door behind us. His brother's voice, my best friend, unknowing, innocent. "Hey, are you in there?" "We're leaving!" I froze. His grip tightened. Possessive, claiming. "Open that door," he whispered. "And I swear I'll drag you back against me in front of everyone and make sure they understand who you belong to." My breath caught. My pulse wasn't fear anymore. It was fire. A quiet laugh deep in his chest. Dark, sinful, dangerous. He knew what I felt. He knew I couldn't walk away. "You don't want to be ruined by me," he murmured, voice velvet and stone. "You want to be chosen by me." Then, softly, quietly, "I choose you." The door clicked open, light, sound, voices, and just like that, the world rushed back in. But my world had already changed, because I thought I was untouched. I thought I was waiting for love, but love isn't what found me. He found me. And love is gentle. He was not. He was hunger. He was danger. He was destiny, and I was already his. Even before he ever kissed me. Before him, my life was quiet. Quiet like empty libraries on Sunday mornings. Quiet like tea cooling in forgotten cups. Quiet like a girl who never learned how to be wanted. So she learned how to be invisible instead. I was 23 years old, and I had never been kissed in a way that mattered. Never been touched in a way that meant something. Not because I was sheltered, but because nothing ever felt right. No one ever felt right. I thought maybe there was something wrong with me. Maybe romance just wasn't meant for girls like me. Girls who blush too easily. Girls who dream too deeply. Girls who want to be chosen, not by the world, but by one person with eyes that see every hidden piece and whisper. Mine. He was that person. I just didn't know it yet. Back then, I was standing in my best friend's kitchen, hair tied up, sweatshirt too big, peeling stickers off a water bottle while she paced around complaining about work. "Alex is flying in today," she announced suddenly. I looked up. "Your brother?" She rolled her eyes. Unfortunately, the great, terrifying, emotionally allergic Alexander Romano. I laughed softly, not understanding the weight that name carried, not knowing the world whispered it in fear, not knowing it would someday be whispered against my skin. "Don't worry," she smirked. "He won't even notice you exist. He's like darkness in a suit. Zero social energy, zero charm, zero warmth. Warmth wasn't the word I would have chosen later. Heat, fire, possession. I just nodded, brushing crumbs off the counter. He was just her brother, I thought. Just another adult I'd have to make polite small talk with. Hours later, the front door opened. It wasn't dramatic. No thunder, no music cue, just footsteps, slow, controlled, the kind that didn't walk into a room. They entered it. I looked up, and my breath forgot how to exist. Tall, black suit, white shirt undone at the collar like he'd left another world behind and didn't care what bled into this one. Broad shoulders, hands scarred like they'd learned pain by teaching it. And those eyes. God. Eyes that didn't scan a room. They claimed it. Eyes that saw through me like I wasn't standing in a kitchen. But at the edge of something I didn't yet have a name for. My friend hugged him. He didn't hug back. He tolerated it. He barely spoke, barely moved, except when his gaze landed on me. For a heartbeat, something shifted. Not warmth. Not softness, recognition, like I was a secret he'd been owed. His jaw flexed. Mine nearly dropped. My friend waved a hand between us. This is my best friend. He didn't look away, didn't blink, just lowered his gaze to my mouth, then back to my eyes. And with a voice carved from ice and sin, he spoke my name like he had owned it first. Hello? It wasn't a greeting. It was a warning, a promise, a beginning. People talk about moments changing lives like they happen with music swelling, stars exploding, fate bowing at your feet. Mine happened in silence. Just his eyes, locked on me like he was reading every secret I never meant to confess. I should have looked away. I should have blinked. I should have remembered how to breathe, but something in me stilled. Like my body knew him before my mind did. My best friend didn't notice the electricity crackling between us. She never saw danger unless it wore a warning label, and he never needed one. She turned to grab her keys. Don't scare her, Alex. She's delicate. Delicate. I hated that word. Soft, breakable, fragile. Not a woman, just something that could be dropped. But he didn't smirk. He didn't laugh. His gaze darkened, like that word offended him on my behalf. Delicate things, he murmured, eyes still pinned to mine. Should be protected. Protected. Not ignored. Not invisible. God, I didn't stand a chance. My friend clapped her hands. Okay, let's go. I'm starving. She walked past us. He didn't move. I brushed by him to follow her, trying to pretend my knees weren't made of silk and nerves. His hand brushed my wrist, not grabbing. Not holding, just a touch, feather light, enough to stop my world mid-spin. His voice was low enough that only I could hear it. Don't rush. I swallowed. I wasn't. His head dipped slightly, studying my face like he was memorizing it. Good. Soft. Dangerous. Intimate. He let my wrist go, and the loss of contact felt ridiculous, like cold water after warmth. We walked outside. His car waited at the curb, sleek, black, silent like a threat disguised as luxury. My friend got in front. I reached for the back door. His voice slid through the air behind me. Sit with me. Not a question. Not a suggestion. A command wearing velvet. My friend glanced back. Oh, Alex never lets anyone sit back there. His gaze didn't leave me. I said sit. The air tightened. A string pulled between us, invisible and relentless. I opened the door, sat beside him, the door shut with a soft click, and the world outside disappeared. We drove. He didn't look at me. Didn't speak. Just let his knee brush mine once. Accident or on purpose, I didn't know. But my pulse reacted like he'd kissed me. His phone buzzed. He glanced at his screen. A woman's name flashed, his jaw clenched. He turned the phone face down without answering. Something sharp twisted in my chest, a feeling I had no right to feel. Jealousy. God. Already? His voice finally broke the silence, low and lazy but edged in steel. Don't look at my phone. I wasn't. He leaned slightly closer, not touching, Just enough heat to set skin on fire. You don't need to. Confusion tangled with heat. Why not? His eyes flicked to my lips, then away like it cost him effort. Because, he said quietly, I don't want you thinking anyone else matters. My heart stopped. He didn't finish the sentence. Didn't need to. Not when you're in this car. Not when you're in my world. Not when I've seen you. I faced the window, breath shaking. I didn't know what I was becoming around him, only that I wasn't invisible anymore. And God help me. I never wanted to be again. I used to think jealousy looked loud. Slamming doors, raised voices, arguments flung like knives. Turns out real jealousy doesn't shout. It watches. It studies. It waits. And when it finally moves, it's deadly quiet. We were sitting at a small Italian restaurant, sunlight slipping across white tablecloths like liquid gold. My friend had dragged me there to catch up, talking nonstop, filling every moment like silence was something sharp she didn't want to touch. Alex sat beside me, silent as ever, stirring his espresso like the spoon had offended him. He didn't look at me, didn't speak to me, but every time I shifted in my seat, his eyes flickered, like he felt my movement more than he saw it. A waiter approached us. Young, warm smile. Sleeves rolled to the elbows. Harmless. Normal. The kind of man I would have thought was attractive before him. Hi there, the waiter said to me, smile a little too charmed. What can I get you? I opened my mouth to answer. Alex spoke instead. She'll have water. The poor guy blinked. Okay, and for food? She's not hungry. I turned, startled. I didn't say that. Alex finally looked at me, calm, unreadable. You never eat much when you're nervous around new people. My breath hitched. How could he know that? We had barely spoken. I'd spent maybe 30 minutes in his presence. The waiter tried again, awkward. I can bring a menu. Alex's hand came to rest on the table next to mine, not touching, just there, solid, territorial. She's fine. The waiter's smile faltered. Right, I'll just go check on other tables. He walked away fast, like he could feel the storm in the air. My friend groaned. Alex, you can't do that. She can order for herself. He didn't acknowledge her. He didn't look away from me. You don't like men staring at you, he said quietly, more observation than question. I swallowed. I don't mind. His jaw ticked. You should. Why? He leaned back in his chair, confident, relaxed. But his eyes, they burned. Because men don't look at you innocently. A pause. They don't know what to do with someone like you. Someone like me, small, quiet, unkissed, untouched. Someone like me? I echoed. His eyes dropped to my lips. Slow, hungry, controlled only by will. Innocent, he murmured, soft. My cheeks flushed. You don't know me. Not yet. Those two words landed like a promise. Or a threat. Maybe both. I forced myself to breathe. You don't get to decide who talks to me? He didn't argue. He didn't raise his voice. He just looked at me like he could undo every button on my soul with his gaze alone. I don't like sharing attention I want. My heartbeat stopped. Attention he wanted? I barely know you. I whispered. His voice dropped, dark velvet across my skin. You don't need to know me yet. A beat, but you will. He sat back, expression calm again, composed like he hadn't just carved his intentions into the air. My friend laughed nervously, missing the undercurrent entirely. God, you're so intense. She's not a possession. He didn't look at her. He looked at me. She isn't. A pause. Not until she chooses to be. My chest tightened. Breath gone, he didn't force. He didn't demand. He offered danger like a gift, and something in me, something small and foolish and starved, reached for it. I should have run. But instead, I sat there, pulse fluttering like wings trapped behind ribs, realizing that being seen, truly seen, was more terrifying than being invisible, and I was already falling, not fast. Not recklessly. Slow, Quiet, inevitable, like gravity. Normal people don't realize when danger starts. They think it arrives like thunder. Loud, crashing, impossible to ignore. But sometimes it begins with something small. A stare, a voice, a feeling in your bones that something is wrong. We were leaving the restaurant. Sunlight stretched across the street, warm and peaceful. A lie. Alex walked slightly behind us, silent, hand in his pocket, posture relaxed. Except it wasn't, not really. His stillness had weight, like a predator moving slowly, because running wasn't necessary. My friend was rambling about a movie. I was nodding, pretending to listen, still feeling the echoes of his words at that table. I don't like sharing attention I want. I shouldn't have replayed it. Shouldn't have let it settle under my skin like warmth meant for winter. But the truth was simple. No one had ever wanted my attention before. We turned the corner toward the parking lot. That's when he appeared. A man leaning against the wall. Cigarette between two fingers, the kind of smirk that made skin crawl. Not because it was confident, but because it thought it was entitled. His eyes dragged over me. "Slow, ugly. Hey, sweetheart," he called, pushing off the wall. "You dropped something." I paused, confused. "I didn't." He held up nothing, just air. Just ego. My stomach tightened. He stepped closer. "Yeah, you did." "You dropped my attention." My friend groaned. "Seriously." I stepped back instinctively. I didn't need Alex to move. I didn't hear him move. He was simply there. One moment behind us. The next, between me and that man. Body a wall. Presence a storm. His voice was quiet. "Too quiet. Say it again." The man blinked. "Relax, dude. We're just talking." "No," Alex replied, tilting his head slightly, almost bored, but not. "You're breathing in my direction, and you're doing it too close." Ice threaded through my blood. He wasn't raising his voice. He wasn't threatening. He was promising. The man scoffed. "What are you, her boyfriend?" Alex didn't even look back at me. "He didn't need to, no," he said softly. "I'm the man that will decide what happens to you if you take one more step." A heartbeat. Then another. The air changed. Thick, electric, dangerous. The stranger laughed once. A nervous twitch more than amusement. And backed away, hands raised. "Whatever, man. She's not worth—" He didn't finish. Alex moved so fast I didn't see it. Hand gripping the guy's collar. Slamming him against the brick wall so hard dust shook loose. My friend gasped. I couldn't breathe. Alex leaned in, voice low enough only we could hear. "You don't get to look at her. You don't get to speak to her. You don't get to exist near her." The man's eyes widened, finally recognizing what stood in front of him. This wasn't jealousy. This was ownership of space, of threat, of power sharpened into warning. "If you ever acknowledge her again," Alex whispered, tone steady, deadly, "I won't talk first." He released him, not pushed, not tossed, just let go. The man stumbled, terrified, running without looking back. Silence fell heavy. My friend stared, stunned. "Alex, what the hell? You can't just—" He didn't answer her. He turned to me instead, his hand lifted, slowly, like he didn't want to scare me, fingers brushing my cheek, tucking a loose strand of hair behind my ear. He shouldn't have touched me. Not there. Not so gently, not after that violence. But God, the tenderness made it worse. "You don't talk to men like that," he said softly, voice no longer cold. Now warm, protective, possessive. "You don't know what they think when they look at you." My breath shook. "And you do?" His thumb grazed my jaw, once, before he dropped his hand. "Yes." His gaze held mine, unblinking. "Because I think it too." Time fractured. My heart forgot its rhythm. He didn't smile. Didn't smirk, just turned away, calling the car with a flick of 2 fingers. Command disguised as convenience. And as we walked, I realized something terrifying. Danger didn't find me today. It noticed me, and it wanted me, in his world. That was the same thing. That night I couldn't sleep. Not because of fear. Not because of danger. Because of him. The way he stepped between me and the world, like he'd been doing it his entire life without knowing my name. The way his voice sank into me like it belonged somewhere beneath my skin. My friend had gone to bed hours ago. The house was quiet, still. I sat on the couch, blanket wrapped around me, knees tucked close, trying to breathe out thoughts I had no business thinking. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Slow, controlled. Every sound he made existed with intention. He didn't enter the room immediately. He stood in the doorway, watching. I didn't see him at first. I felt him. Heat under my skin before my eyes found him. His shirt sleeves were rolled up, collar undone, hair slightly disheveled, like he'd been fighting sleep too. He didn't ask to come in. He didn't need permission, but he waited anyway. Something about that, the patience in a man who controlled everything, made my chest ache in a way I wasn't ready for. "You should be sleeping," he said quietly. "So should you." His lips twitched, but not into a smile, into something darker, softer, more personal. He stepped closer, slow, deliberate, like each step was a question he was giving me time to answer with a breath or a heartbeat. I didn't move, didn't speak, didn't blink. He sat across from me, elbows on his knees, head bowed for a moment, as if gathering the version of himself he wanted me to see. "You're shaking." "I'm not." "You are." He didn't sound proud. He sounded frustrated, angry at himself for being the reason. His gaze lifted. That impossible quiet storm, and pinned me in place. I shouldn't have touched him. "You didn't need that." "I wasn't scared," I whispered. His jaw clenched, muscles ticking in his cheek. "You should have been." And then, softer, lower, broken around the edges. "You make me forget what I am." My breath caught. Suddenly the room was too small, too alive, too electric. "What are you?" I asked. He exhaled slowly. A man confessing to a crime no one asked about but everyone feared. Not gentle enough for someone like you. Silence pooled between us. Warm, dangerous, magnetic. "Everyone thinks the world will corrupt kindness," he said quietly. "But innocence is stronger than people think. It survives what power can't." His eyes found mine again. Slower this time, like he was tracing his name across my heart without touching me. "That's why I can't touch you." He was lying. I knew it. He knew it. He didn't fear ruining me. He feared being the one ruined. The clock ticked. The night held its breath. "Go to sleep," he murmured, voice rough like he'd swallowed restraint. Before I could move, he stood. He passed me slowly, every inch of him close enough to feel, not close enough to touch, and paused behind me. I didn't turn. I couldn't. His breath brushed my hair. His voice was barely sound, more like gravity. "If I stay here another minute," he whispered, "I won't leave your bed untouched." My heart slammed against bone. He brushed past me. No contact, just heat, heading toward the hallway. Then, right before he disappeared, he stopped. Didn't face me. Didn't breathe for a second. "I don't take innocence," he murmured. A pause. "Not unless it offers itself." The lights hummed. My pulse shook the air. He walked away, and I sat there, trembling, not from fear, from knowing I wanted to be offered. Not to the world, not to a boy, to him. I used to think danger announced itself loudly. Sirens, shouting, chaos. But sometimes danger is silent. Sometimes danger wears a suit, leans against a marble counter, and watches you like he's memorizing every inch of your existence. That's how Lorenzo looked at me the next morning. Not like I was a girl he caught sneaking through his world. Not like I was his sister's best friend. He looked at me like I belonged to him, like he'd already claimed me in his mind, and was just waiting for my heart to catch up. And God help me. It already had. I stood in his penthouse kitchen, clutching a mug of coffee like it was a life raft. His chef, an older man with kind eyes, smiled politely as he worked. But Lorenzo? He didn't look polite. He looked hungry. "Sleep well?" he asked, voice low, rough like velvet over whiskey. "Fine," I lied. Because I didn't sleep. Not after feeling his jacket around me all night. Not after smelling him on my skin. Not after remembering how his eyes softened when he pulled me into him. Like I was the only soft thing left in his world. He leaned closer, voice dropping even lower. "You dream about me?" I almost choked on air. "What? No, why would... No!" His smirk was lethal. "You sure?" I hated how warm my cheeks felt. Hated how my heart reacted like it had been trained to recognize his voice as command. Then footsteps echoed. Light, hurried. "Sophia." "Morning," she yawned, hair a wild cloud. "Hope my brother didn't scare you off." Scare? No. He was doing something worse. He was ruining me quietly. Lorenzo didn't look away from me as he answered her. "She slept just fine." It wasn't the words. It was the way he said fine. Like the night meant something to him too. Like I belonged here. With him. Sophia didn't notice the tension. She never saw the things hidden beneath the world's surface. That was her magic. But Lorenzo, he saw everything. And he wanted to be the only one who saw me. I moved to leave. Distance. I needed distance. But his hand wrapped around my wrist. Gentle. Warm. Possessive. "You're safe here," he murmured. "Not just because you're under my protection, but because you're under my attention." My breath caught. Attention. No one ever looked at me like that. Like I wasn't invisible. Like I mattered. Sophia whispered something about grabbing her bag and left the room. And suddenly it was just him and me again. Alone in a silent penthouse, where the only dangerous thing wasn't bullets or enemies. It was my heartbeat. He slid his thumb across my pulse, slow, deliberate. "One day," he whispered, "you'll stop pretending you don't feel this." Feel what? Fear, desire, or destiny? Because somewhere inside me, a truth had already bloomed. I wasn't scared of the Mafia. I was scared of how much I wanted the man who ruled it. And I think he knew, because when I finally pulled my wrist free, he didn't stop me. He just watched, with a look that promised he wouldn't let me run forever. People talk about monsters like they live in shadows. But the truth is, sometimes monsters sit in sunlight, wearing tailored suits and a watch that costs more than your life. And sometimes, you fall for one anyway. Lorenzo didn't speak to me the rest of the morning. Not a word. Just silence and glances so intense they felt like fingerprints on my skin. But the strangest part? He seemed unsettled. Like I was the danger now. Like I wasn't the fragile one anymore. I was the storm that could unmake him. Sophia chattered beside me as we drove to campus, completely oblivious to the tension pulsing through the car like electricity. "So, sleepover at Casa de Mafia King? How was it?" she teased. I nearly dropped my phone. "Si casa what?" she shrugged playfully. "My brother's dramatic. You'll get used to it." My heart thudded. Used to him? As if that was possible. From the driver's seat, Lorenzo's knuckles tightened on the steering wheel. Just a little, but I saw it. He didn't like when she joked about who he really was, and he didn't like anyone talking about me around him. When we reached campus, Sophia hopped out first, already complaining about an exam. I reached for the door. His voice stopped me. Stay. One word. Low. Soft. Undeniable. I froze. He leaned forward, gaze locked on mine, jaw tight like he was holding back a war inside himself. You're not supposed to look at me like that, he murmured. Like what? I whispered. He exhaled hard, frustrated, like confessing this cost him something, like I'm someone you trust. My chest tightened, because in that moment, I did trust him. More than I should. More than was sane. Maybe I do, I said quietly. His eyes darkened, jaw clenching, as if those 3 words were more dangerous than any bullet. He leaned just a breath closer. I am not a safe place, he said. I don't get to be gentle. I don't get to be good. Maybe it should have scared me. Maybe I should have run. But instead, I felt something break in my chest. A tenderness. A truth. You try to be, I whispered. And that was the crack. His expression shifted. Not softer. No. More raw. Like I'd touched a wound no one else knew existed. His phone buzzed. He didn't look away from me as he answered. Keep her in sight, he ordered quietly into the phone, voice smooth but lethal. Anyone even glances wrong, eliminate the threat. A chill rushed through me. He ended the call, eyes still locked on mine. You're under my protection, he said. But I need you to understand something, sweetheart. Sweetheart. The word wrapped around my ribs and didn't let go. I don't protect things I don't claim. A breath lodged in my throat. I didn't ask you to claim me. No, he said softly. But tell me I'm wrong. A pause. Look me in the eyes and tell me you don't want me. I couldn't. God help me, I couldn't. He noticed. Of course he did. His lips curved. Not a smile. A victory. Thought so. He unlocked the door. Go. Before I do something I won't regret. But you might. And I stepped out, legs shaking, knowing something irreversible had just happened. Not because he claimed me, but because deep down, I wanted to be his. I didn't see him the rest of the day. Not in the hallways. Not in the car after class. Not in the shadows where I had started to expect him like a pulse at my throat. And it shouldn't have mattered. He wasn't mine. I wasn't his. But it mattered. God, it mattered. Sophia didn't notice my quiet panic as we got ready for the party that night, music blasting as she curled her hair and complained about boys like they were homework assignments she was tired of doing. You look good, she said, finally turning and seeing me. Then she frowned. Actually, you look like you're about to throw up. Party allergy? I forced a laugh. Something like that. Truth was, I kept hearing his voice. I don't protect things I don't claim, and worse. His silence felt like punishment. Maybe I imagined the connection. Maybe I was nothing but a girl who wanted a man she should fear. But when we walked into the mansion-sized party, loud and glittering and full of careless rich kids, my heart stilled. Because he was there. Lorenzo. Standing near the bar like a king holding court. Suit immaculate. Glasses of expensive liquor around him. A woman beside him. Dark hair, gown dripping wealth and confidence. She touched his arm. He didn't move away. And that tiny nothing action? It cut deeper than a knife. Sophia gasped dramatically. Ooh, trouble. That's Isabella Rossi. They dated. Mafia royalty. Don't stare. She can smell fear. Too late. I was frozen. Jealousy wasn't supposed to feel like drowning quietly. He turned then, like he felt me. Our eyes met across the room. Just a second. A second that stripped me bare. He didn't smile. He didn't nod. He looked at me like I was a ghost he couldn't touch. And then, he let that woman lean in closer, something inside me broke a little. A guy stumbled over to me. Blonde, sloppy, too loud. "Hey, you're new. Wanna dance?" "No, thanks." He grabbed my wrist. "Come on, one dance." And before I could yank away, a hand slammed into blonde guy's shoulder, ripping him back so hard he hit the wall. Lorenzo, cold fury dripping off every inch of him. "Touch her again," he said quietly, too calm, "and I'll break your hands, both, slowly." The room went silent for a heartbeat. My pulse thundered, not from fear, from the way he looked at me like the world had just threatened his oxygen. But then, that woman slid her arm around his. "Really, darling?" she purred. "Over her?" Her. Like I was nothing. And he didn't correct her. He just stared at me with that unreadable face, claiming me with his actions. Denying me with his silence, the worst kind of cruelty, the kind that feels like truth. I swallowed, forcing my voice steady. "You don't get to protect me and pretend you don't know me in the same breath." His jaw flexed. A muscle ticked. He looked like he wanted to say something, but he didn't. And that silence, that was the first bruise to my heart, because suddenly I wasn't scared of the Mafia world anymore. I was scared that to him, I was just another secret, a shadow he liked to hold, but would never stand beside in the light. I don't cry easily. I don't break easily either. But that night, as the party lights blurred and voices melted into meaningless noise, something inside me cracked. Not loudly. Not dramatically, quietly. The way hearts always break when no one is watching. I slipped out to the balcony, cold air biting my skin, city lights sprawling below like another universe where pain didn't exist. I didn't sob. I didn't scream. I just stood there, breathing like the world was heavy and I was too small for it. Why did it hurt? Why him? He wasn't gentle. He wasn't safe. He wasn't mine, but he felt like gravity. Like once I fell into him, there was no climbing out. Wiped the single embarrassing tear that escaped, then froze. Reflection in the glass. He was behind me. Lorenzo. Silent. Still. Danger. Coiled under his skin like a living thing barely. Contained. "Why are you crying?" His voice, low, strained. It wasn't mocking. It wasn't cold. It sounded like it cost him to ask. "I'm not," I whispered. His jaw tightened. "Don't lie to me," I turned. Not because I wanted to, but because running from him felt impossible. "You made it very clear tonight," I said softly, holding my ground. "I'm nothing to you." Something flashed in his eyes. Anger, regret, something sharp enough to cut a soul. "You think that woman means anything to me?" He hissed. "She had her hand on you. You let her." He stepped closer, a storm in a suit. "Do you have any idea what I wanted to do when she touched me?" My breath hitched. "Then why didn't you stop her?" "Because," he growled. "If I had, I would have done worse." "Worse?" His voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. "I would have dragged you out of that room and made it clear in front of every soul there that you're mine." My pulse stumbled. "Lorenzo, I don't get to do that," he snapped. "You don't belong in my world. I don't get to claim you openly. I don't get to touch you in the light." His voice cracked, barely. But I heard it, and it's killing me. The city roared below us. But all I could hear was the breaking in his voice. He moved closer, too close. Caging me between him and the railing, not touching me, but trapping me with presence alone. "Every time you walk away," he whispered, "I feel something I'm not built to feel." What? Fear, not of bullets, not of rivals, of losing me. It was too much. Too real. "I can't do this," I breathed. He leaned his forehead to mine, like he had no other way to stay upright. "You already are." I trembled. "We're going to burn each other," I whispered. He exhaled. A sound of surrender and anguish, then burn with me. My heart hurt, because in that moment I wasn't scared of him. I was scared of how much I wanted to say yes. I always thought powerful men were made of steel, unmoving, unshakable, untouchable. But that night, I realized something. The most dangerous men aren't the ones who never break. They're the ones who break quietly, where no one can see. And Lorenzo Devara was breaking, not in front of his enemies. Not in front of the world, in front of me. We didn't go back into the party. He didn't ask, and I didn't need him to. We just walked down the mansion's stone steps, past drunken laughter, away from glittering chandeliers and superficial smiles. Into the quiet. He didn't touch me, didn't speak for a long time, just walked beside me like a silent storm learning how to breathe. After a while, we stopped near a fountain. Moonlight pooled on his shoulders like silver armor. "You shouldn't have seen that," he finally murmured. "Seen what?" I whispered. He glanced at me, and for once, there was no arrogance, no iron in his eyes, just a man who looked tired of being made of armor. "The part of me that feels," he said. "The part I can't afford," I swallowed. "Everyone feels, Lorenzo." He gave a soft, humorless laugh. "Not in my world. Feeling gets you killed. Or worse, it gets someone else killed because of you." His voice wasn't cold, it was wounded. "I was raised to keep everything buried," he continued. "No weakness, no softness, no attachments." His jaw flexed. "And then you—" He cut himself off, shaking his head like saying my name was too dangerous. My heart clenched. What did I do? He looked at me like I was a threat he didn't want to fight. "You made me forget I'm supposed to be something other than human." The night held its breath. He leaned back against the fountain wall, running a hand through his hair. The picture of a king who didn't ask for a throne, only inherited one that burns. "I don't know how to be gentle with anyone," he said quietly. "Not even myself." And for the first time, I didn't see the Mafia prince. I didn't see power or danger or darkness. I saw a boy, buried under a man he never got to choose to become. A boy who was lonely. So I sat beside him, not touching, not clinging, just present. "Maybe you don't have to be gentle," I whispered. "Maybe you just have to be real." He stared at me like I'd spoken a language he wasn't meant to understand. Then, his voice softened, almost fragile. "What if the real version of me hurts you?" I didn't look away. "Then I'll know you didn't mean to." He inhaled like the world suddenly weighed more. "And what if I do mean to someday? That's when I'll walk away. Silence. Heavy, emotional, dangerous. And then, in the smallest, quietest voice I'd ever heard from him, "Please don't." My breath caught. Because monsters don't beg, men do. And tonight, he wasn't the Mafia boss. He was just Lorenzo. And my heart didn't stand a chance. The world didn't go dark all at once. It shifted, subtly at first. A cold wind through a warm night. A shiver you can't explain. That's how danger feels when it's real. Lorenzo felt it before I did. One moment, we were sitting beside the fountain, suspended in fragile peace. The next, his entire body changed. Shoulders tense. Eyes sharp. Voice low, lethal. "Don't move." My pulse jumped. His gaze wasn't on me anymore. It was scanning, calculating, hunting. Lorenzo? He stood slowly, every inch of him turning back into the man the world feared. The king wearing his crown again. Someone's watching us. Cold prickled down my spine. He moved in front of me without thinking. Shield. Wall. Barrier between me and the night. Then a shadow flickered beyond the trees. Not party guests. Not drunken college kids. Something darker. Deliberate. My breath caught. "Stay behind me," he ordered, voice like steel dipped in warning. Not a suggestion. A command edged with fear. Real fear. Two men stepped into view. Not boys. Men. Hard faces. Dark eyes. Hands hidden in jackets that promised violence. I wasn't used to danger feeling this real. Heart racing. Breath shallow. Knees weak. Lorenzo didn't flinch. "You came to the wrong place," he said quietly. A threat wrapped in calm. One of the men smirked. "Relax, Devara. We just came to deliver a message." Lorenzo stepped forward, blocking me even more. "You come near her to do it?" The softness was gone. Voice sharp enough to carve bone. "She's leverage," the man shrugged. No need to get sentimental. That word, sentimental, hit like a strike. Lorenzo's jaw locked. Say that again, he murmured, death in every syllable. I had never seen him like this. Cold rage, terrifying control. Your enemies are watching, the man sneered. You're getting sloppy, emotional, a weakness, a beat. Then he moved, not angry, not loud. Silent efficiency. His fist hit the man's throat, not enough to kill, but enough to make him choke on breath and arrogance. The second man reached inside his jacket. I froze. But Lorenzo was there faster, twisting his arm, slamming him against the stone. A gun clattered to the ground. My stomach dropped. Oh God. This wasn't a story or rumor or whisper. This was real. He looked back at me, just for a heartbeat. Don't look away, he said, voice low. I want you to understand exactly how far I will go for you. His eyes burned, not wild, not cruel, protective, unforgiving. Mine. He leaned close to the gasping man. You think she makes me weak? A bitter, deadly laugh. She makes me dangerous. Then softly, close enough the man could feel every promised consequence. Touch what's mine again, and I'll bury your entire family tree. The men staggered back and disappeared, into the dark as fast as they came. Silence returned, but different, charged, irreversible. Exhaled shakily. You meant that, I whispered. He turned to me, and for the first time since the danger appeared, his mask cracked. I don't bluff with the things I can't lose. His hand hovered near mine, not grabbing, not demanding, just near, close enough to feel, close enough to tremble. You're safe, he said softly. I wasn't. Not from the world, not from him, from myself. Because suddenly, I wasn't scared of the danger outside. I was terrified of the danger he awakened inside me, and worse, I didn't want to run from it anymore. It wasn't until we reached my apartment door that I realized I was still shaking. The night felt colder. The world felt sharper. Danger wasn't a story anymore. It had looked me in the eye. Lorenzo didn't leave my side the whole drive. He didn't speak. Not angry, not brooding, just watching the world like it might touch me again. When I unlocked my door, he didn't wait for permission. He followed me inside, silent, unquestioned, like my space was his by default. I swallowed. Are you staying? He scanned every corner of my apartment, windows, hallway, shadows, before looking at me. Yes. It wasn't possessive. It wasn't commanding. It was quiet. Inevitable. I can take care of myself, I whispered. His gaze softened. Not mocking, not dismissive. Sad almost, I know, he said softly. But tonight I need to be the one doing it. He could have lied. Said it was strategy. Said it was duty. But he didn't. He admitted need. And that scared me more than the danger outside. Somewhere between adrenaline and silence, my shoulders slumped. I felt tired. Small. Human. He noticed immediately. Sit, he murmured. Not an order. A request wrapped in concern. I sat on the edge of the couch, hands still trembling. He didn't crowd me. Didn't touch me. He just knelt in front of me, a Mafia king on the carpet of my tiny living room, and gently took my hands. His touch was warm. Steady, anchoring. You were brave tonight, he said quietly. No. My voice cracked. I was terrified. His thumb brushed my knuckles. Bravery isn't not being scared, he whispered. It's being scared and standing anyway. I looked up at him, really looked, and it hit me. He wasn't bulletproof. He wasn't made of stone. He was a man swallowed by a brutal world, and somehow still capable of gentleness with me. I keep thinking, I whispered. I'm going to wake up and realize all of this is in my head. His jaw tightened, pain flickering deep in his eyes. If this was in your head, he said softly, I would be a happier man. Because then you wouldn't be standing in my war. My throat tightened. You could push me out of it. He shook his head once, slow. helpless. I tried. Silence wrapped around us, thick and fragile. What if I get hurt? I whispered. His voice was rough, raw honesty. Then I will burn the world. A breath left me like a confession. And what if you get hurt? His eyes closed briefly, as if I'd hit the one place no enemy ever could. Then there will be nothing left to protect. The room hummed with truth. Neither of us knew how to hold. He rose slowly, sat beside me, leaving space but not distance. Close enough to feel his warmth. Close enough to breathe easier. You should sleep, he murmured. And you? I whispered. His gaze softened like dusk settling on quiet water. I'll be here. Safe. Present. Mine. In the only way he knew how to be. I didn't fall asleep because I felt safe. I fell asleep because he stayed. And somewhere, before dreams pulled me under, I heard him breathe a truth he thought I couldn't hear. I don't know how to love softly. But God, I am trying. I always thought forever was a fairy tale word, a delicate thing, a promise whispered by people who didn't know how easily life could destroy you. But standing here now, wrapped in the soft hush of cathedral light, the world quiet around me, I know better. Forever is a vow you fight for. Forever is a choice. Forever is him. I breathe in slow as the tall wooden doors shut behind us, the world outside falling away. The pews are empty. No guests, no priest, just candles and shadows. He didn't want witnesses. He wanted truth. And truth has always been dangerous between us. He turns toward me, dark suit sharp enough to cut the silence, eyes burning in that way that used to terrify me, that still terrifies parts of me. Because nothing about him is safe, Lorenzo De Luca. My best friend's brother, my forbidden crush, my protector, my storm, my Mafia king. I swallow as he steps closer, fingers brushing my cheek, reverent but powerful. Look at me, he murmurs. I do. God help me. I always do. His thumb sweeps beneath my eye like he's memorizing me all over again. You understand what today means? I nod, breath trembling. That I'm yours. His jaw clenches. Possessive. Fierce. Proud. Not because you're claimed, he whispers, voice low enough to shiver through every bone in me. But because you chose me, my heart stutters. I did. He lifts my hand, pressing it to his chest, right over the heart that once felt untouchable. Then listen. For the last time, I give you an out. Walk away now, and I'll take every memory of us to the grave. No one will touch you. No one will ever know you belonged to me. Belonged. The word shakes through me. Heavy, overwhelming, beautiful. I should feel trapped. But all I feel is home. I step closer until our foreheads touch. I don't want out. His breath releases, a sound like a man finally allowed to feel alive. Say it, he demands softly. Say you choose me. I choose you, I whisper. In darkness, in danger, in every life we're given. His chest rises sharply, like my words hit somewhere even bullets couldn't reach. His hand curls around the back of my neck, grounding me, claiming me. Then from this moment, he vows, voice of velvet threat and a promise all at once. You are my future. My breath, my fire, my queen. My heart stops, not princess, not protected girl, queen. He leans in, not a kiss, not yet, just his lips brushing mine like a promise sealed in shadow. We walk into hell together, he murmurs. And we build heaven there. I smile through tears. As long as it's with you, his voice drops, dark silk. Final and forever, mine. And I whisper back, without doubt, without fear, without ever looking away. Yours. If you want part 2, comment part 2 below. And don't forget to subscribe now to BRD Stories Hub for more dark romance, mafia love, and heart-melting stories.